Hello, Laney and Taylor Major. I have the name down now. Nobody told me I was doing it wrong.
What happened?
Well, I've been calling him Major Taylor instead of Taylor. And his last name is Major, not his first name. Anyhow, I thought maybe he was military and he wanted to be Major Taylor, and his name was Major Taylor. But anyway, so now you know the story on that mystery. In case why I was calling you by the wrong name. Anyhow, some good news. That's what the inside of your transmission looked like. It runs in engine oil, and so it makes an emulsion when water and oil don't mix, but they do make kind of an emulsion, and so that's what was going on there. I had a concern. I didn't want to voice it and create any more angst. That perhaps the motor shut down because of water does not have the same lubricity as oil, but that's not the case. That's the good news. The engine will spin, so it's just a matter of us getting all of this cleaned out and then finding out, well, us, I say us, it's going to be this guy right here, Kevin. And so we'll get all of that out, and then we'll also determine where it's coming from. We're expecting it's going to be coming from the exhaust manifolds. That is the most common place that it comes from. It could be a head gasket if you were running full speed, and this is a 30-year-old motor. Well, it sat for 30 years. It may be that a head gasket got blown, and that would also allow water into the engine. And the reason it gets in the transmission is the back end of the crankshaft is actually drilled to squirt oil into this transmission. So they share the same oil. Anyhow, we're just getting started on it this morning, and but
pull the motor out.
Yeah, we're going to pull this out to work on it, and then we'll clean it all out. Clean all this out with kerosene. We will pull the distributor, and we have a tool that'll go down in where the distributor was, and we can spin the oil pump, and we'll pump kerosene through all the bearings and so forth, and then we will collect all that and dispose of all that. And then, like I say, we'll at some point we'll pull these exhaust manifolds off. We'll check those for leaks, and then we will, hopefully we'll find it in one or both of those. Those are easily replaced. Let's see. The only other thing that when I was we have a GPS tracker on the truck, so when I was keeping track of where the truck was, I realized that you guys are running this boat in brackish water, salt water essentially, which is highly corrosive to the engine. So I didn't know that you were going to do that. I don't think you caused this problem by running in a corrosive environment. However, if this engine was running in a corrosive environment, corrosive water, for most of its life, then what you have to do is you have to flush the engine each time you use it. Otherwise, that salt water sits inside the engine and causes the engine to rust out over time. So if there are freshwater lakes in Louisiana, that's probably where you ought to be operating rather than in the brackish or salt water. There are cooling systems made. It's called freshwater cooling, and what you're cooling is with raw water. So whatever water is in the body of water that you're in, that's the water you're running. The freshwater cooling or closed loop cooling is those are two different terms for the same thing. They have a heat exchanger in there that can handle the salt water, and what's running inside your engine is basically antifreeze or a corrosion inhibitor and water inside the engine. So, and the engine because basically we don't want to keep doing this, because that could over time that will over time, not could, over time damage your engine. So I don't think that had anything to do with this. I think this must have been just on the verge of going wherever this leak wherever we find the leak, it was on the verge of happening. And you know, it wasn't giving us any trouble. You check the oil every time you start the boat, and you get something that looks like a milkshake or a cream colored, very much like a milkshake, then you know you got a water problem. And you know, we should be checking the engine every time you get ready to use it. Should be checking it for oil anyway. So, but most people don't know. We know, but most people don't know to look for the milkshake, and then that's an indication of a problem. And I don't think you ever got to see the milkshake. You know, we've got a boat right over here that came to us. There it is, right here, Whiskey A Go-Go. It's for sale for $135,000. And we started it up. We were going to take it down and put it in our slip where we keep boats that were for sale, so that people can demonstrate them on the water. And that boat ran about 30 seconds. It had frozen over the winter, and in 30 seconds, it did the same thing to that boat as what happened here. So this could have all happened to you in 30 seconds time, and probably in 30 seconds time, rather than it being a chronic thing. It was very much an acute thing. So anyway, I just wanted to point that stuff out to you, tell you the good news that the engine is not locked up, it spins around. And I didn't want to bring that concern up because I'm an optimist, and it paid off this time. So anyway, we will keep you updated as this goes along. Thank you.